Travel demand is recovering strongly in Southeast Asia, with consumer travel spending projected to grow over 6% compound annual growth rate from 2025 to 2030. To unpack this, we speak with David Zhang of Euromonitor International. Welcome, David. So, beyond the rebound, what are the major structural shifts reshaping the travel industry?
We did see strong growth for these regions in the travel categories across transport, leisure, hospitality. It's really driven by the strong growth of income and economic growth. But more important, we see is what's actually changing behind how is the people travel. We see three themes. Number one is polarization. Number three is the experiential travel. And number three is the smart travel. So on one hand, we see the affluent consumers. They actually drive the premiumization, for example, into the luxury hotels, fine dinings, food services line. On the other hand, we see our cost-conscious consumers that actually drive the volume growth. And number two, in terms of experiential travel, meaning actually more than half of the regional consumers actually express the interest to seek the curated, more meaningful experiences. And what we mean by experiences are, for example, into events, concerts, natural adventures, etc. So actually, this category is actually the fastest growing category in terms of travel spending, ahead of the food and dining, shopping, etc. In terms of smart travels, what we refer is to integration of AI, which makes the customer journey more seamless. For example, the AI can help the customers in terms of discovery, planning, booking, and engagements.
But can you also explain how do these trends create new opportunities for banks and payment providers to better serve travelers?
Great questions. So if we see this as three structural shifts in terms of travel, we also see these implications for the payments extended as well. So firstly, in terms of the two-speed dynamics into the payments, we see that the credit cards, especially the affluent consumers are using the credit cards still for high value spending. If, for example, into the airlines booking, hotels, etc. While for the in-destination digital wallets still play a strong role. Don't forget that Southeast Asia still have a large emerging markets such as Thailand, Indonesia. They still have loads of merchants still not qualified for credit cards. So those are helping to drive the volume as well as for the underserved consumers. And for that, we also see there's a frictions for the cross-border travel. For example, in terms of the mobile wallet users move overseas, they may be not able to spend overseas, as well as for the inbound travelers from different markets, for card holders moving to countries like Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines. And we see some payment frictions as well. So these are the implications for the first travel themes. And number two, in terms of the experiential travel, we believe that payment has to be seamlessly integrated into the customer journey. For example, is that events, concerts, attractions. Just give an example of Taylor Swift concert in Singapore. That not only for Singaporeans, but also for regional fans from Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, etc. And as well for different markets. That means the events and concerts payments have been more diversified, plus they may be frictionless, and that will minimize the card abandonment. Number three, in terms of these AI travel, it's not only helping the customer into discovery or booking, but also help consumers to, for example, optimize the foreign exchange currency, help them to select the best payment methods, and I think in near future will even help the customers to complete bookings as long as below the threshold of the customers' preferences.
That's a lot of opportunities, but what should banks and payment players prioritize now to capture a greater share of travel-related spending?
Indeed, we did mention quite opportunities within these three big themes. And in my opinion, in terms of prioritization for the current most immediate opportunities or priorities is still to drive the acceptance, meaning the theme one on the two-speed polarizations, on the credit cards, on the digital wallets, acceptance. For example, we mentioned about the digital wallets acceptance overseas. We've seen a partnership between, for example, local digital wallets such as Gcash in Philippines, Touch and Go in Malaysia, and leverage on the Alipay Plus from Ant Group for them to travel spend overseas in Japan, South Korea, in China. Secondly, we'll see partnership between, for example, MasterCard into local digital wallets as well, for example, in Thailand, facilitate developed markets card users to pay in local Thailand markets. And our regional banks and payment players should also step up to drive merchant acquisition as well as acceptance as well to capture opportunity. And in a near terms, we also believe that the customer experience is also important. As I mentioned about the payment diversification, we see that based on our survey, 57% of industry professionals believe that in this year, customer journey improvements are most important, critical to improve the customer journey experiences. And with our research, we're also seeing, for example, 35% of the card spending jump during a major concert event, for example, Taylor Swift. In terms number 3, in terms of the AI smart travel, we also, based on our survey, show that 34% of industry players actually plan to invest in AI, as more than half of them believe that will have an impact for their operations.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, David.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, that was David Zhang, Regional Market Insight Manager, Services, Channels, Economies, and Consumers for Euromonitor International. For more news, visit asianbankingandfinance.net.